You'll never believe what tricks they're going to use in the police academy once you get there. Let's discuss. Hey, before we get started, I have two gifts in the description for you. One is the Getting Started workshop. It's going to walk you through every phase of the hiring process. Plus, there's some hidden bonuses in there I know you're going to like. And next is a coaching call with any member of my team or even myself where we could go over your police hiring process, your law enforcement career and success, and then help you and give you any guidance that you think you might need. Now, the Police Academy. Week 1 of the Police Academy. What should you expect? And what tricks are they going to be using on you? There's a multitude. We're going to try and cover them here, as many as we can. So first and foremost, understand week 1 is going to be utter chaos. And here's why I mean utter chaos. First of all, you'll have no leadership put in place, right? Which means you won't really have a squad leader, or you won't have a recruit leader, an academy leader. So you're not going to have any rank structure, and then someone at some point in time is going to go out of ranking, so to say, or out of your vertical structure, and going to go directly to an instructor or directly to maybe the training director's head, because usually when they're up at that higher level, they tend to be very, very approachable, right? They tend to carry themselves very, very well, and they make themselves seem very approachable. But if you go outside the rank structure and go directly to the training director to say, ask a simple question, you are going to get smoked, and you're going to get the entire academy class smoked. So you're going to have your class leader. That class leader is probably going to assign some squad leaders or have a subclass leader. Anyway, you have a rank structure. You need to follow orders. You need to go in order of your rank structure in order to get things taken care of. But you're not going to have that week 1. So it's going to be utter chaos, and the instructors are going to use that to their advantage. And here's how. Week 1 is usually a smoke session. And what I mean by that is it's a lot of PT, it's a lot of struggle. All you have to do is not quit. You don't have to be the strongest, fastest person in the room. You no matter what, even if you are, they're going to push you to the point to where you're still going to be struggling, right? Because a lot of people that get to that point that are naturally gifted will really struggle when they're finally pushed, and trust me, they will find a way to push you, right? Whether that means that they're going to intentionally smoke you after class or whatever. And when I say smoke, I mean kind of like PT, physical training. So you're going to have a bunch of that week 1, probably maybe even into week 2. But week 1 is going to be chaos. They're going to tell you to report at this place, at this location, at this time. And sometimes they might change it last minute intentionally. And they're going to find reasons or create reasons to punish you all. And it's all planned. It's all intentional. They have days already scheduled and circled where all training will stop, and they will just punish you all for the whole purpose. The whole purpose of this is mental toughness, all right? To show that you can do and handle more than you think. And you usually start with physical exertion, because a lot of people, their bodies are tired, but it's their brains, it's their mental strength that gives out first, and that's when individuals are going to quit. And what they don't want is you getting in a fight for your life, or a fight for your partner's life, or someone in the community, and you're trying to save them, and you give up, and then that way you wind up getting injured and someone else getting injured, or someone getting access to one of your tools or your firearm or anything like that. So they want to start setting that right then and there. Next, they also want to set the tone of the academy, and the tone is, and it will lessen as you go through and get closer to graduation. They'll start treating you more as, I don't want to say colleagues, but more as senior and upperclassmen, right? They'll start giving you all more leeway, more respect, everything along those lines. But as you're going through, they're going to start week 1 with that real struggle session. And it's planned, like I was saying before. So you're going through week 1 is complete chaos. They're beating you down, a lot of smoke sessions, planned smoke sessions, and they will fabricate different aspects for individuals to wind up actually causing this to happen in the departments or in the class. So imagine this. Imagine you are going through the first week and someone shows up late, or someone doesn't have their boots shined, or or someone doesn't show up at the right location. I've seen them have HR send a secondary letter, hey, please report to this location. And then the original location says report here, but they pick a handful of people and they say, please report to this location. And then those people report to that location, or they move it last minute and they don't notify everybody, and they leave people in that past location, so the class isn't all together. So then day one, minute one, everyone's in the front lean and rest, which just means the push-up position, doing push-ups, getting smoked because people were late or weren't where they're supposed to be. And they fabricated the whole thing. The entire thing. All right, this is not meant to scare you. This is meant to motivate you and push you, because the real trick to succeeding in the academy, but especially week one, is just do not give up. You can do it. Listen, if other people have done it, you can do it. All right, hands down. You just have to not quit. A lot of people will fail out later in the academy, right, due to having some type of issues or maybe even an injury. But where most people quit is the first week or two, usually during that real mental toughness training, that real physical training, to try and just see where everyone falls. And the big thing is just not giving up. You don't have to be the best. You just have to not give up. So you're going through, as that week goes on, maybe you'll select your class leader, or they'll select your class leader, and then he or she will assign other individuals to be squad leaders. Or you must use that structure, that rank structure, when communicating. You will not go to, unless it's something that requires you to, like a safety concern or a personal issue, something along that. You will not go directly to instructors for individual matters. You will run that through your rank structure, right? Your supervision, so to say. Once that first week is done, you're still going to be in complete chaos, but you're going to have an understanding of what the tone of the academy is, right? You're going to have individuals that just don't want to get on board with it. They're going to find a way to make their life very miserable, right? And it's just the way it is, right? If you're going through and you're saying, hey, I'm going to try and have a rapport with our lead instructor, right? Our lead instructor, because usually every class has a lead instructor, and you're going to try and have a rapport with them. They're going to be cordial and nice to you, but then they're going to call in your class leader, tear them a new one, and then that's going to trickle downhill back to you and to everyone else. The other aspect that I want to make clear is a lot of it's going to be confusing and you're not going to understand it. So they might tell you, one instructor might say be back at this time, but another instructor's told you 2 times ago that you need to be, at this location at this time. Well, which one do you listen to? Well, this is where your class leader would come into play, but say it's week 1 and you don't have a class leader. Always err on the side of caution. If I was going into the police academy right now when it was fresh, and there's a couple things that I would focus on knowing how to do. 1, I would always be working on my physical fitness. 2, I would learn how to shine boots. All right, and it's very simple. And I'm not saying, mirror shine them like military, honor guard, which you should know how to do that. But you can watch a bunch of videos on that. Maybe we'll do a video on it. But at least know how to buff and shine boots. If you have a pair of black boots, if you just have a buff brush and it's just a big brush and you just dust everything off, hit it with the brush, then you take polish and you scrub it all over, and then you take the other brush, the buff brush, and brush it all off again. It's going to give a natural shine to your boots. And we'll do a video. It's been a long time, so I want to see if I can still do it. But we'll do a video on that and show you how to, shine boots quickly. And you can usually shine boots in under 5 minutes. The caveat to that, a lot of people will use and purchase this stuff called quick shine. It works for about 5 minutes, right? And then especially if you're in the sun, so if you're standing in formation, that would be another issue. Week 1, you're going to be learning what formation looks like. You're going to be learning what attention and parade rest look like, especially if they're a paramilitary academy. And I see a lot of state police like that. There's other departments along those lines. But highway patrol, state police, they tend to run paramilitary style structures for their police academies. So I would be learning that in week 1. You're already going to have to, but what does the position of attention, what does the 45 degree angle at your feet, supposed to look like? How's your hands and fists supposed to be clasped at the seam of your pants? All that stuff, right? Know what that looks like. Grooming standards. Make sure you know their grooming standards. You might be able to have if you're a male, you might be able to have a beard in your academy. Maybe you can have one in your department. Maybe the academy says, or maybe the department says you can have one, but the academy says you can't. So you got to learn how to, does your hair need to be off your ears? You got to make sure that you're clean shaved if they say you can't have a beard. For females, sometimes they say your hair must be up off the back of the collar. Every academy is going to be different, just like every department. But a department standard might have one thing, but then you might go to a shared academy that might have. These are all things that I would want to know prior to week 1. So we know that they're going to come in and try to just beat you down and have smoke sessions all the time in their pre-plan. They're going to look for ways for individuals to mess up. If you're one of the individuals that mess up, do not let it get you down. I've had plenty of candidates that we've helped get hired, go through our become alumni of our program, and they come back to me, week 1, week 2, and say, Frank, man, I messed up on day 1 or week 1, and now they're giving me nicknames and they won't leave me alone, and it's all part of it. It's intentional. Don't let it break you. All you have to do is not quit. They will, if they cannot find someone to mess up, they will make someone mess up. All right? I've seen them even put plants in the academy or use someone that's not staying. Someone starts the academy, right, and says, hey, I need to go home. There's a family emergency. They'll pull that person inside and be like, are you sure you want to do this, everything? Do you have to? And if that person's like, yeah, I have to leave, they'll be like, okay, we understand, no big deal. And it's a very professional one-on-one conversation because they're not looking at that individual as a recruit anymore. But they're going to say, hey, can we use you to kind of set the tone? And what they'll do is I've seen them do fake kickouts where they kick someone out of the academy even though that person was already leaving, right? So someone says, hey, I got to drop out. I apologize. I got to go home. There's a family emergency. And they'll try to get them to stay, right? Because we want good recruits to stay. But if that person, I apologize, I got to go. Okay, hey, role play with us. We're going to act like we're kicking you out. And then we'll let the entire academy class think that until the day of graduation. And then we'll tell you when you're up there on the stage getting your academy awards, yeah, we've done a lot to test them. We've even fake kicked out students and they thought it was real all the way up until right now. And I've seen that. At a lot of academies. So just keep that in mind. A lot of it is staged and prepped to kind of get you there. Now, this is not meant to tell you to circumvent any of it and the training. Just know that it's meant to mentally tough you. Mentally test you, Week 1 is meant for mental testing. You're going to think it's really for physical testing with all the PT you're going to need to do. But it's not. It's all mental. They don't care if you can do all the push-ups. They don't care if you could do all the sit-ups. They don't care if you're not finishing the run time in the fastest time. They're going to train you throughout the academy to get you where you need to be. They want to see who can mentally suffer and then push through it and not quit. So there's a lot more to it than this. As we're doing this, I think I'm going to need to make a couple more parts to it. But week 1 of the academy, don't quit. Expect them to find reasons to just really beat you down. And then also it's going to be complete and utter chaos. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take more than the first couple of weeks for you all to get in the groove. And then once you get into the groove, you'll go to a new phase and you'll start all over again. But hope this helps. Remember, we got those 2 gifts in the description. The Getting Started Workshop is going to walk you through every phase of the hiring process, plus that hidden bonus in there, a couple hidden bonuses in there, and as well as a coaching call with any one of my instructors or even myself if you like. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.